You know, when I originally had this idea for a video, I thought I would use a script. Nah, I've thrown that script out the window. Yes, welcome to how we could obtain legally shiny Pokemon that were previously shiny locked in the past. This video has basically come about because of recent events in Pokemon Home where we were given shiny Pokemon that were previously unobtainable through completing certain games' Pokédexes. Now, as a shiny hunter myself, I was delighted, but the problem I had for it was, well, the OT is a bit of a shame. And obviously, this is not the first time we've seen this. Shiny Zeraora was a good example in Gen 8, where 1 million trainers had to defeat a Zeraora in the Raid Dan battles, and then that way we will be gifted a shiny Zeraora. The thing is with Zeraora, it's kind of a forgettable Pokemon. It's appeared in very little animes and or movies. This is coming from someone who hasn't watched much of the animes or movies, to be honest. So in today's video, we're going to come up with some creative ways on how we could possibly encounter these shiny locked Pokemon shiny in future games. The main inspiration was of the faraway island Mew that we were only able to obtain legally in Japanese Emerald. Let's start off by going for Victini, as it is currently the oldest Pokemon that we cannot still get shiny today. Legally, that is, anyway. In Pokemon Black and White, we were able to obtain Victini in the Liberty Garden. It required the Liberty Pass. So an idea I thought of is if potentially in a remake of Black and White, because those games are coming to 15 years old, there's likelihood that we could have a chance of catching a shiny Victini with, once again, obtaining it in Liberty Garden after receiving the Liberty Pass, battling the Team Plasma Grunts, and then maybe there'd be like a final challenge before we get to the encounter of Victini. Just kind of a bit like how we got the Mew encounter in Faraway Island in Gen 3. I think that would be a great way to make it available to shiny hunt a Victini. Next on this list that I'm focusing on is Genesect. Now, the only legal way we can obtain a shiny Genesect is through everyone's favourite Pokemon game, Pokemon Go. Yeah, I don't like it. I just don't want to. If we get a Genesect encounter somehow in the remake games, make it shiny available, please. Thank you, Game Freak. Thank you, Pokemon Company. Thank you. It's not gonna happen, but that's what I want to happen. Just make it a shiny unlocked. That'd be great. Thank you. Next up are some Gen 6 mythicals and legendaries that we didn't really get much of a chance at. Shiny Diancie is one that I would like to talk about. Shiny Diancie was available very exclusively though to Japan and Korea. There is the Irochigai no Diancie present, I believe, which is a local gift only in Japan. And there was one that was also in Korea. I don't know if it was the same one. I feel like it is, considering what I'm looking at, it's got the same moves. So good on them for giving those two countries Shiny Diancie. But I think because of the poor storytelling and the lack of time that we saw in Gen 6 for the game to be produced, there could be a chance that we could be able to encounter Diancie in Pokemon Legends ZA. Wouldn't that be nice? And then we could hear more of the story if it's just a glorified Carbink. And would it be shiny? Because otherwise I could see this being as a glorified home reward where we complete the Pokédex in Pokemon Legends ZA. Because that would be the best ever, wouldn't it now? Another Pokemon from Gen 6, Hooper. Now, this is the most slept on shiny, possibly because it can't exist legally yet. I mean, just look at this golden, look at that golden beauty. Now, Hooper, I think, was only unfortunately a event gift Pokemon. We never get to encounter or experience its story. So again, very similar to Diancie, hopefully we get to encounter it in some special way and learn more of its story in the new game coming up, Pokemon Legends ZA. And last but not least of the Gen 6 Pokemon, well, it's kind of the last one actually, the Volcanion, the most unique type we've ever had in all the games so far. The Pokemon is a fire-water type, or water-fire, depending how you look at it. Now, Volcanion, again, is another Pokemon like Diancie and Hooper where we just got no story or no real content about it in the original Gen 6 games. So maybe in Pokemon Legends ZA, again, like Diancie and Hooper, we get to experience a unique encounter and hopefully we get to learn a bit more about the Pokemon itself. Just, again, this is just a betting on that Pokemon or Game Freak will do the right thing and, don't put a shiny lock on this one, please. Just, please. I kind of like having my own OT on it. That'd be great. And then that way we can have more usage of it. It's, again, this is just wishful thinking, but, just a unique way we can experience Volcanion, because we just can't get to it legally yet. On to Gen 7 now, and let's talk about Cosmog and Cosmoem. These two, again, I struggle to see how we can get these as shinies in the future at all. But let's just try and imagine we're in a world, because this is a legendary that can evolve, remember. Imagine if you could Masuda method Cosmog and Cosmoem. Unlikely it will happen ever, but just because it can evolve, it has a starting block, a middle stage, and then it can evolve into Solgaleo and Lunala. Again, this is very, very unlikely, because imagine how many shiny Cosmogs you could hatch. You wouldn't want someone to have mad mental Masuda method luck now, would we? No, that would be too much. This is going to be behind a paywall, this shiny Cosmog Cosmoem, isn't it? Like, I don't know how, but it probably will be. Because you can't really have two of them in the one game, because if you look at how they did it in the Gen 7 games, you got one just given to you, like a legendary just given to you. That's very unusual compared to other games where you get to have to encounter it. But yeah, it's tough to see how these guys could ever be shiny distributed. I see it as just a random event, but again, because it's an evolving legendary, it's hard to see. But maybe Masuda method, unlikely, but it's a crazy idea. Of course, everyone's favourite confusing Gen 6 and or Gen 7 Pokemon, Magearna. Now Magearna is a weird one because we've received Magearna before in events, but also we received it as an award in the Pokemon mobile version of Home. So, right, shiny Magearna, how could you work? So if Magearna was to make an appearance in Pokemon Legends ZA, I kind of like the idea of constructing a Pokemon, because if you look at the Pokemon's Pokédex in the Pokemon Sun, it says this artificial Pokemon constructed more than 500 years ago can understand human speech but cannot itself speak. Imagine if Pokemon Legends ZA had a thing where you were going around and you had to collect certain materials to build Magearna. Imagine if when you were building it and constructing it after you collect all the pieces, that there was a chance that they could be shiny once you received or built it. Kind of like with fossil Pokemon. Imagine if you built your own shiny. The last of the Gen 7 Pokemon I would like to cover is Shadow. People remember this Pokemon? I certainly sometimes don't really remember it too much. It was just given to us in Gen 7 without really any context. So, without any context, let's hope we can encounter it in Pokemon Legends ZA, because it's only available in Gen 7 games. And that being Sun Moon, Ultra Sun Moon. So, yeah, it's not great. Shiny you, how would we get you shiny, Marshadow? Because it's funny, we've got 2 ghost fighting types now. So how do we get a way to force an encounter with Marshadow? In the anime, Marshadow appeared in a major role in the episode titled I Choose Yule, where it was revealed to be a guide from the shadows, who leads those chosen by Ho-Oh to be the Rainbow Hero. What I'm thinking here is very similar to the way we had to encounter the giants, the Gen 3 giants. We had to do a large Kakamahoni thing where we read the Braille and then we followed the instructions of the Braille to get to the encounter of those legendaries. Imagine if you had to have a party member, had to be a Ho-Oh, and then you had to follow certain tasks to do to get to Marshadow. Again, it's very stretchy, but that's kind of a nice unique way or a unique touch to the acknowledgement of Marshadow, because like I said, this thing's only been in 2 games and no one plays those games much anymore. I mean, I haven't touched those games in a little while because of shiny Pokemon, but I need to get back there eventually. But yeah, Marshadow needs some love. Moving on to Gen 8 now, Kubfu, aka the Karate Kid, aka there's an upside down smiley face under his nose. I have zero cares about this Pokemon, to be brutally honest with you, and so my only thought with this Pokemon is that if it's an appearance in a certain game in the near future, that if you register all the fighting type Pokemon, you get to encounter this teddy bear. And then maybe it might be not shiny locked. I mean, I don't really care, but you know, maybe just make it Masuda methodable. That'd be kind of fun, I guess. You know, just chuck it in eggs. I don't know. You may as well, because it evolves into 2 different forms. So yeah, make it Masuda methodable. Ah yes, the Rude Sandstorm. This Pokemon really pissed me off, because it's literally nothing. It's just like, it's no need for this Pokemon. It puts on a cape and it becomes a new form. Oh look, let me just put on this different shirt. Oh look guys, I'm a different form. So for that matter, just give this a home reward. I really don't care. The Gen 8 horses, Spectria and Glastrier. My wild thought for these two were similar to how we encounter them in Gen 8, where we had to plant a certain carrot in a field of our choice. Imagine if we got to make like a sandwich or a curry that somehow brought the Spectria or Glastrier to us. Wouldn't that be a funny, unique way of encountering a shiny, horsey legendary? I'll open the comment sections for you guys on these two horses, because I don't really know exactly. Megamind. I think a bit similar to the other Pokemon I've suggested. Have both Glastrier and Spectra in your party in a certain location. Do some tasks, and then maybe you can force a Calyrex encounter. Moving on to Gen 9 now, and let's start off with the Treasures of Ruin. What can we do with a snail, a tiger, a fish, and a deer? Again, I'll leave these open to you guys as well for suggestions, but my only thinking is similar to how we encounter them in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, is we collect a bunch of rods and then we go find them and then just soft reset, because honestly, I mean, the idea of encountering a legendary or a mythical like this is still kind of cool, but I really can't think of anything that's kind of innovative or creative for these guys. The box art legendaries, Koraidon and Miraidon. Well, again, it's a shame that they're shiny locked. I really don't hope this is a thing that Pokemon Company or the Game Freak Company are continuing to go down this rabbit hole of shiny locking legendaries in games, because it's just not great. My idea for these encounters to be shiny is if in Pokemon Legends ZA we get time traveling, and if that's part of the game, why can't we time travel into the past or the future to encounter Koraidon and Miraidon? It kind of makes sense, since, well, Unova is literally just north of Paldea. I think that's a really good idea if we can time travel and encounter Koraidon and Miraidon. Just brilliant. It'd be kind of like the wormholes, but not as annoying when we don't have to fly. Same could be said to Walking Wake, Iron Leaves, Gouging Fire, Raging Bolt, Iron Boulder, and Iron Crown. Again, those for me personally are very forgettable, but it'd be just nice to encounter them shiny. Cutting in Jacko here, just a thought I had for these Paradox Pokemon. Since we're coming up to Pokemon Legends ZA, and we've got 2 Johto starters and 1 Unova starter, wouldn't it be funny if, again, time traveling was a part of a gimmick in this game, and we could time travel to visit these Pokemon, and hopefully get to encounter them shiny? Wouldn't that be kind of cool? I mean, it probably won't happen, it's Game Freak, so who knows. The so-called Loyal 3, aka a weird looking dog, a weird looking monkey, and a weird looking bird. I'm not sure how to go about with these in a new game and how to make them shinyable or not. Maybe like how we got Spirit Tomb in Pokemon Legends Arceus, we have to collect certain poison fragments, and then that way when we combine those fragments together, it somehow forces an encounter with one of the 3 at a time. Ogerpon. I'm not sure. I don't know, maybe we have to beat up Kieran physically and then take him to Ogerpon, and then Ogerpon can get out its baseball bat and also swing at Kieran. I don't know why I suggested that. Terrapagos and Pekarant. I can see being like a 7-star raid in the Pokemon Scarlet Violet games. Don't really know, because that game's getting so old now, and maybe to keep people playing it is by doing these type of events. And don't make it such a limited short time. Maybe give it a week or so that people can get a chance at it, because If you make it shiny, people are going to hunt for those things forever. And gosh knows the uproar of Pokemon fans who missed out the chance of doing those raids. So that basically wraps up this idea, guys. Thank you guys for watching. Let me know what you think in the comment section below about any of your own ideas that you wish to see, how we could encounter some of these shiny like Pokemon in future games and them being shiny available. Because my collection needs the Pokemon to be shiny. Gosh dang it, I mean, there's 1,025 total Pokemon. That's, you know, quite a lot. And if there's like 20 missing, my brain, my OCD is not going to comprehend that. They need to be unlocked, Game Freak. Hashtag free the shiny lock. Free the shiny lock. So yeah, again, thank you guys for watching. Thank you for supporting my channel, enjoying the Pokemon videos that I do. And I will see you all in the next one. Bye for now.